Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, my wife and I saw this movie last night. This was the first movie that we've seen in theaters since our daughter was born, so the first movie in theaters in about 14 months. And we both thoroughly enjoyed this movie. We both thought it was absolutely hilarious, which is what you get normally with Deadpool movies. Ryan Reynolds, of course, is fantastic as this character. He is just so snarky and he does so many 20th Century Fox jokes that it is absolutely amazing. Now, with Wolverine, I first saw Wolverine in the original X-Men movie in theaters in the year 2000, so it's nice to be able to see him with probably his last time playing Wolverine in theaters again 24 years later. I thought they both had great chemistry together. You can really tell that when they're playing off each other, that at first they really hate each other, but then they learn to grow on each other. And they both have that same kind of sarcastic humor that they can bounce off each other with. It's absolutely fantastic. This is a really good pairing of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. It's absolutely amazing. So without giving too much away of the plot, Ryan Reynolds learns that he needs to bring Wolverine into his timeline because Wolverine is the only person who can save his world and his timeline. Now, of course, Wolverine does not want to do this. He wants nothing to do with this. He doesn't want to go out of his way for anyone. He has that kind of, gruff mentality where he's all about himself. But he soon realizes that Deadpool can probably help him to restore his timeline as well. So this is the whole multiverse thing. So he decides that he is going to work with Deadpool. At some point, they get put into this thing called the Void, which is basically like a land of misfit toys, but with mutants. So it's a lot of older mutants from older standalone movies. Now, I went to this movie not knowing what any of the cameos were going to be, if there were going to be any cameos, who was going to be in this movie, and I was absolutely shocked and amazed at what these cameos are, especially one cameo in particular where I thought the person was actually in prison or in jail for tax evasion, but apparently they're there on screen and they are playing their superhero characters, and these are older characters who they want to just go out with a bang. They know that they're probably going to die, and they just want to get all the glory of battle and get one last battle in before they die. So they all group together and they attack the female big bad boss in this movie, who is apparently Professor X's sister. So they fight her. She is very powerful in this movie. She pretty much, her powers can be used without any type of restrictions because she is the Void. There's no restrictions. She can just do whatever she wants. So she spends a lot of her time in the Void. She's definitely the most powerful person, like killing people, torturing people, making sure people fall in line with her. But every villain in these movies is susceptible in some way, and there is eventually the last kind of scene where she's pitted up against Wolverine and Deadpool. And although I can say I don't understand the science of this last part of the movie, it was still really cool. I still really enjoyed this movie a lot. They are able to bring Wolverine back, but they're also able to respect what happened to him in Logan, which is amazing. I was really worried about that because he had such a great ending in Logan. I'm like, how are they going to bring him back from that? Like, how are they going to destroy that ending and create a whole new ending? But they did a really good job with it. I personally felt at ease after I saw it, and all in all, I thought this movie was really good. It's really fun. I had basically given up on Marvel movies after the last Avengers movie. I wasn't even a huge fan of the last Avengers movie. I think at that point I was just completely done with Marvel. All their movies were kind of the same to me. I thought they were all kind of boring. When you have like 5 or 6 Thor movies, it's like, how much more of a story can you get with these characters? And I thought a lot of their storylines were stretched. I stopped paying attention to them. I stopped caring about these characters. So obviously with Marvel movies, you have to watch every single movie and the credits of every single movie to understand what's going on in the next series of movies. Like, it, I hate how they do that. I hate how if I want to understand what's going on in a Thor movie, I have to watch every Captain America movie, or I have to watch every Iron Man movie. When I don't really enjoy all these characters, like I'm not fully invested in ever. I don't want to watch Wasp and Ant-Man so I can understand what's going on in something other movie. I hate how they do that. I think I gave up on Marvel because of that, because I don't want to watch all of their movies. I only want to watch the ones I'm interested in. But I had to come back for this one because I love Deadpool. I love Wolverine. The X-Men were a huge part of my childhood growing up, so I try to watch every X-Men movie that I possibly can and everything involving X-Men, and I just thought they did a really good job here. I thought the story was fantastic. The acting is on another level. Like I said, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are just fantastic in this movie. I really love what they were doing all the way through. I don't have a lot of complaints. I will say there is a big fight scene involving Deadpool, Wolverine, and a lot of copies of a character. And I thought at that point, once we got to that point, the movie had gone on a little bit long. But there also is the funniest scene in the entire movie in this scene. And basically, the line is regeneration, which is absolutely phenomenal. So that did help, but I did felt that it got a little long at some points. Like they were just doing the same thing over and over again. But I did enjoy the movie. Like I said, maybe this will give me some hope that Marvel movies can actually be good again and can be interesting again and can be funny again. I don't know what it is with Deadpool, how it's always so much more funnier than every other Marvel movie. Like, how can this movie be entertaining and fun and a joy to watch and the other ones are not? Aren't they made by the same company? I don't know. But I mean, honestly, it's hard because in theaters, I feel like I always give the movie a really high rating because of the theater experience, and then once I see it on DVD, maybe it's not so high. But I mean, I can safely say that this is probably like an 8.5 movie. I thought it was really good. I'm really happy with what they did with Wolverine. This, like I said, is probably his last movie. I would assume they made a lot of jokes about this. Ryan Reynolds joked all the time about how Disney was gonna milk him for until he's 90. There's a lot of breaking of the fourth wall, which happens in Deadpool movies, but he kept making this joke about how Disney was just gonna milk him until he's 90 years old, and they're just gonna keep having him come back as Wolverine. I mean, which might be true because this movie might have saved Marvel and all the flops that Marvel's had, and a lot of it is because of Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine. Everyone wants to see him, even he's like, I don't know how old he is, probably his 50s, but everyone still wants to see him as Wolverine, so he basically saved the series. But anyway, 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I look forward to future Deadpool movies. I hope they keep making them. So yeah, thank you. Hope you join me for my next review.